All right, guys, we are live, episode 135 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for joining us here today. We have co-host here, Jennifer Seymour. What's going on, Jennifer?
Hello.
And the show guest right next to her.
Yeah, I'm so damn excited.
It's Justin Vititoe in the house. What's going on, Justin?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's good to see you. Good to talk to you. We really haven't had a survivalist kind of talk on this show. We usually do competitive shooters and firearms companies and stuff like that. So this is going to be an interesting spin. And for those of you guys watching the show and are interested in this stuff, it's a great time to get in your Q&A for Justin throughout the show. Nikki's on almost perfect timing here. Nikki, what's up?
Hey. I made it.
All right, Nikki Clevenger's in the house. So we were talking about the Q&A section. Bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see that. Click on that. Open up another screen. You can ask your questions throughout the show here live. Also on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page, there's a post that just went up live, probably pinned to the top somewhere, where you can prefer to use Facebook. Post it in the comment section, and Jennifer will get those questions throughout the show. So we're talking survival. We're talking about prepping. We're talking about techniques. We're also going to be talking about competitive shooting and stuff like that. Obviously, he's a Army sniper, I gather. So we're going to talk a little. What was that?
That it used to be.
He used to be one of those, so we're going to be talking a lot about shooting and stuff like that. So definitely want to get your Q&A section, throughout the show here. Announcements here. I got sponsored by Tactical Shit, shop.tacticalshit.com for all your tactical shit needs. They got survival stuff over there, first aid kits, trauma kits. They also have all your firearms accessory needs, so go check out shop.tacticalshit.com for that. We have some discount codes we're going to throw out throughout the show on Tactical Shit. All right. Techwear USA for the finest competition shooting jerseys. Techwear USA's has some really fine jerseys. All of us here wear them. They're the cat's pajamas of jerseys and jackets, because Jen's the only cool one that has one. We keep referencing that. I still haven't put in the email to grab one.
Don't be jealous just because I missed them.
It's just too hot in Florida right now, so it's not on my mind. It pops in my mind when I want to talk about it on the show. That's about it.
I wore mine Saturday at Atlanta 3 again.
Did you?
In the morning. Yeah, we were chilly in the morning.
All right. So, and then they also have the Techwell system. So for you 1911 guys, single stack, they have it's a magwell and a grip system, and they have the TAC latch with an AR-15 charging handle. So check out Techwear USA. Brett Russo for always supporting the show since episode 2, man. We really appreciate it. He's going to be at NRA show. We're going to talk about NRA show because most of us are either there already or flying out tomorrow or tonight for the show. I know I'll be out there. So the Shooter's Mindset app also for Apple and Android devices, iTunes, Google Play Store. Download the Shooter's Mindset app if you prefer to watch the show from the convenience of your cell phone. And the newly launched theshootersmindset.com. So we just put up the website. It's running. More updates to come, but it's running. It's going pretty smooth right now. So go check out that. All right, so let's kind of jump in here. Justin, for those who aren't familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you got involved in the industry, and some about your military service?
Yeah, sure. So I joined the National Guard when I was about 17 years old. Did about 3 years doing that, and then decided to go active duty. Spent about 15 years active duty, and then just wasn't happy anymore and decided to get out about a year and a half ago. And for the majority of my time active duty, starting back in about 2003, I was either a sniper or working down at sniper school or stayed close to the community for the majority of that time. And then that kind of transitioned me once I got out to staying in that community and doing those types of things. So I think a couple months it was after I got out, I shot the Mammoth Sniper competition for the first time and absolutely enjoyed that. So started, just meeting people in the industry, and it's been a pretty crazy year and a half so far as far as all the stuff that's happened to me since I got out.
And what initially taught you kind of the survival skills? Was it the Army, or was it something that you were always into before that or after that?
Yeah, I was always kind of interested in it. early on in my Army career and everything else, but it's hard to actually get the training in the Army. I was a conventional guy. I wasn't in special operations or anything like that. So, even getting SEER school, is a huge pain. So I started branching out on my own and, going to civilian courses and things like that along the way. And it just kind of turned into one of my other passions that I really enjoy doing. And that just kind of it's weird. It just kind of snowballs over the years, and then randomly one day I get a message on Facebook asking me if I wanted to apply for this show, and I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so here I am, almost a year later, and actually seeing myself on TV. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I can agree with that, and that's kind of how it's funny how that started, because I got the same email when the Top Shot show was going on. They're like, hey, you should do this, you should do this. I kind of never applied, but
Yeah.
it's like, I'm probably not going to be good enough versus all these guys. But when you look at the history of that show, it really wasn't the best guy out there that won. It was,
Yeah.
they had all these world-class competitive shooters, and it was guys that like ran a church that won.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like, it was weird. That's something that I probably should apply to coming up. But that's how it kind of all starts. And now you're the guy that everybody's stopping in the mall and saying, hey, can I get an autograph, right?
No, that hasn't happened yet. I went and ate dinner with a buddy of mine just before I came over here, and so we were sitting down, and one of his friends was like, I've seen you before, and I'm like, nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so he actually was one of the first people to correctly identify me. Usually I get that guy from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh,
People-
yeah, you do kind of look like him now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I gotta show this to my wife after the show, because she was a big fan of that TV show. So I gotta get. Yeah, he does look like him. If she says that, oh, yeah, he's totally good. I forgot his name. Is that I know it was Jax.
Charlie Hunan or something.
What's that?
The actor's name is like Charlie Hunan, and then
Okay.
he's Jax on the show Sons of Anarchy. I used to watch it. I think he looked like him too. So
Yeah. So there you go. That's funny how that's getting mixed up, though. All right, Nikki, what do you have? What's new? I mean, you kind of just popped in here. We haven't had much. I'm just kind of throwing this out there on you.
yeah, sorry, just getting ready for Louisville this weekend, trying to get all my shit together. I can't. Work's been crazy, and here I am, and I apologize for being late, y'all. I mean,
No,
But-
I mean, you're right on time. We announced the co-host is there, and you just jumped in. And there you go. So you're right on time. So we appreciate you coming in, because it's like Jennifer's the co-host and the guest all in one shot. No,
that's what
on
I
one
was
screen.
thinking. I was like, well, we only have 2 screens up. We need a 3rd screen. So
Right.
hurried home. Heath drove the fastest I've ever seen him without killing us. So we made it.
There you go. Way to go, Heath. We're gonna see them over at NRA show. It's gonna be good. We have a lot of live broadcasts coming. We're gonna do some reviews at booths. I'm gonna be at the Dewey Rod's booth. I'll announce that later on in the announcements portion of the show. Nikki's gonna have a couple appearances at some sponsor booths and stuff like that. It's gonna be good. So definitely, and I should open up the Q&A section. I don't know if we have questions, but if you guys are just tuning us in, make sure you guys get your Q&A questions here live, so we can get them to Justin throughout the show. All right. So Justin, more importantly, and this is when first Jen told me about you that you're a buddy of hers, and you have a foundation that you started called Height to Survive. So what led you to start that, and what exactly is it, and what's your vision to grow that organization?
Yeah, so it was shortly after I got out of the Army. I started looking at the way a lot of my friends that had been out for a while were integrating back into society, or rather weren't integrating back into society, and I noticed a real problem. And this was even before I really kind of figured, or kind of started understanding about the veteran suicide epidemic and all that's going on right now. But I just saw this huge problem of guys not really transitioning back into civilian life, or not well anyway. And so I kind of just had this compulsion that I needed to do something to kind of help that. So I threw around a couple of ideas. One, because of my long-range shooting background, I thought about doing that, bringing guys out to the range. I was like, well, that's a really expensive habit. It could get pretty crazy. So I started the things that were free or, greatly reduced cost. And so finally settled on hiking. And then it just kind of has morphed, over time from my original thoughts and intent, and now it's a whole another animal than what I originally started, but it's a way better. So basically, what we do, what I'm trying to do more than anything, is create a community of veterans that can get together, go out, enjoy nature, go on hikes, go fishing, go whatever it is, just be in nature and be around each other. And what that tends to do is just I kind of do things a certain way when I take guys out on hikes, but it's not really super important, because just guys getting together and going out in nature, what winds up happening is eventually the eventuality of it is they wind up having conversations about issues they're going through. They wind up having conversations about things that have helped them out, and it's a part of a healing process that if guys just sit on their couch and don't really get out and do anything, that they don't get to experience. I was actually in Savannah a couple of days ago, stayed at my buddy's house, and we got to talking about some stuff, and I told him about a specific thing that I thought I was crazy, because I did this specific thing for a number of years, and he was, excuse me, he was like, yeah, I do the exact same thing, and it's stuff like that, is letting each other know that you're not alone, and you're not out there flapping and crazy, and there's other people going through the same thing. I think a lot of times it's really hard for us to talk about things we're going through emotionally, and
Yeah, I think being a guy, I really don't, just talking about stuff that goes on, just even with my wife, is kind of just keep it all inside, you know what I mean? So I can imagine some of the veterans that come out, and if they're they just have no one to talk to, can't really release it, and it just kind of boils up in a sense, and at least a camaraderie of fellow guys out there going on a hike, they can really kind of let it go and at least be a little bit more calmer. I think that's the kind of the goal there, in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's done a ton for me, personally healing, and I do hikes, with me at them, and the biggest two things that I try to do when I lead a hike or go on a hike is get guys to slow down, actually enjoy themselves, so they're not going 100 miles an hour. And the other big thing is just talk about issues they're having. And a lot of times, once one person starts, then it'll kind of go from there, and guys feel more comfortable, actually talking about stuff. But like I kind of alluded to before, the biggest thing I'm trying to do is build that community, and we do that through the Facebook page. There's the Hike Survive community page. That's a group, so anybody can post on there and say, hey, I'm out in Texas somewhere, I'm going to go on a hike this weekend, and somebody that they've never met before in their life, or maybe somebody that lived 5 minutes down the road and going through the same exact issues that they're going through, can use that as a conduit to be able to link up, go on a hike, go fishing, go do whatever, and to actually meet guys and gals in their area that they're actually doing something that's healthy and is going to help them in the healing process.
Right on. So how can we support this a little bit more? So we're going to have all the links to join the community and the Facebook page in the description box below, if you're watching this after the live broadcast goes away. But if you just plug in hike the number 2 to survive in Facebook, just in the search bar, it'll pop up. The community pops up, and the Facebook page pops up if you want to go there now. But what's some more things that we can do to support that?
Honestly, man, that's the biggest thing is the community page. There's actually two Hike to Survive pages on Facebook. So one is a regular page. That's kind of where I put out sponsored hikes, stuff like that. And then there's the closed group page, and especially for veterans, guys, people that want to support veterans, anything like that, go on that community page. Just you gotta ask to be accepted into it, but soon I got a bunch of admins. They're really great about doing that really quick. So once you request to join, you'll get accepted, and then as long as you don't post any spam or anything, we're not going to kick you out. But yeah, that's the biggest thing is spreading the word and and getting that community built. I think we I haven't looked in the last couple of days, but I think we got it right at around 3,000 members, across the United States. So I'm wanting that to get bigger and bigger, so that if the bigger it is, the higher the odds that somebody's going to see, oh, hey, there's a dude 10 minutes down the road from me going on a hike. I think I'm going to join him. And the eventuality of what I want it to do is is to have basically regions, to where we have a Hike to Survive Northeast and covering the entire United States. So it's a little bit more centralized or decentralized, and the ability is there for guys to be able to link up a lot easier.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But if anybody wanted to get a hold of you, let's say they just feel comfortable doing it with you, is there a certain way to get in contact with you, or maybe some people just want to you're talking about it, you're the head guy doing this, maybe they feel comfortable doing it with you.
Yeah,
just reach out on the page, community page.
Yeah, so the easiest way is probably either on the community page or to send me a private message on Facebook, on my personal account, and I'll get back with you. It's I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off usually most of the time. I'm constantly traveling, but what is that? Oh, my phone's going off. Sorry. I just heard this weird buzzing. But yeah, so sometimes it's a little hard to get a hold of me, but I try to get back with people, especially if it's about Hike to Survive or something like that. I try to get in touch with people pretty quickly. So if somebody does reach out and they want to help or want to do anything like that, just hopefully try to be patient with me a little bit. It might be a day or so, if I'm really busy before I get back to you, but we'll try to get back to you.
All right, yeah, we'll have all that stuff down in the description below. There's a few Facebook pages. His Alone Season 2 page. We'll have all that stuff down there. We're going to talk about Alone Season 2 here, probably coming up here in the next segment here. I don't know if we have any Q&A, Jen. I don't know if you're on top of that or anything.
We're good.
We're good on that. All right. So some of you guys, most of the viewers might recognize you from a show on the History Channel called Alone. You're on Season 2 of that episode. I saw episodes 2 and 4. I watched a lot of shows similar to that show. So tell us about the show. I mean, I know you're definitely limited on what you can say. This show is an ongoing show, so we can't be like, hey, who wins? There's none of that stuff going to be going on. But tell us a little bit about what the concept is of that show, if you can.
Yeah, so basically the overall concept is they take 10 people. I was one of those people. But you get dropped off in this year and last year. It was northern Vancouver Island. So it's kind of like a temperate rainforest. It doesn't get crazy cold in the winter, but it rains a whole lot. So we filmed all this season last fall. But you get dropped off with, basically you get to pick 10 items out of I think it's like a 40 or 50 item list. So specific items that you can't bring, there's there's basically this, like I said, this 40 to 50 item list of things you can bring. And so out of that you get to pick 10. And then you get dropped off and you survive out there. You last as long as you can, or as long as you want to, and then whenever you decide to, well, either if you get hurt, to where you can't continue, or you decide to tap out, then you're done, and then the last person that's out there wins $500,000.
Wow, I mean, so I didn't even know that was the actual ultimate goal. Usually these shows are like you win 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand, but we're talking about a little hefty tag here. So man, but you got to be qualified. I know anybody would jump at an opportunity to try to win $500,000, but you got to actually be qualified to actually hang in there and win. That's not an easy task. I know I can't do it. Like we were talking about the mosquitoes, man. Mosquitoes. That's gonna tap me out right there, man. I can't do the mosquitoes. I can do a grizzly bear. I can do, snakes and reptiles and all that type of stuff, man. But mosquitoes are the most annoying thing when I'm fishing, man, and the mosquitoes are out there in Everglades. That thing beats you down, man.
Yeah, I was actually, that was one of the big things I was worried about going up there, believe it or not. And the time we were there was no mosquitoes, so I was really happy about that. Because you're absolutely right. They will drive you insane.
Yeah. What's that?
The bears.
I'll take bears over mosquitoes any day.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I'll take some bears over mosquitoes. I'm telling you.
I hate mosquitoes.
You know where you stand with bears. It's either they don't like you or they're just going to go out on their business. Like, yeah, mosquitoes are horrible.
Yeah, but when you realize that they don't like you, it's kind of too late. They can outrun you.
That is true.
You
just hug them. That's all you got to do.
I don't want to just know I'm going to die before I die. Rather not die.
Yeah, that's why they call it a bear hug.
Yeah, exactly.
They just want a hug.
Yeah, and I know people are creeped out by the snakes and all that stuff, and you got to know the region. The spiders and
no spiders.
I was about to say I haven't seen any.
No snakes up there either.
Man, so this is, I've done a little reptile stuff when I was younger. It's kind of like, so I've been bit by a few, obviously non-venomous, but I handle some venomous snakes, so that thing, they don't scare me at all. So that's why people go, you always see people on their Facebook posts like Jen. I think Jen had one. Jen had a Facebook where she saw some snakes out of her yard, and everybody's like, shoot them dead, and I'm like, dude, that's like a rat snake, you know what I mean? That's like, let them go. He's just gonna take care of the rodent problem for you in the front of the house or something. It's weird how people automatically think snake, think shoot him with a 12 gauge or something. Maybe it's like a rattlesnake in the backyard where your kids play. I can see that, but like whatever. I don't know. So that's my stand on snakes. I mean, I just pick them up and move them if they're that much of a nuisance, really.
Nah, every snake I see, I kill. 'Cause that's one less thing that's gonna randomly bite me.
There you go. All right, so there you go on the snake thing, yeah. Like I've been bit by a few in my day, so they, as long as they're not venomous, I'm not really afraid of them at all. So, and down here in Florida, I don't think we have too much. If you live on the water, you got the cottonmouths and stuff like that might be there, so that can be real dangerous. I think there's a coral snake down here. But other than that, there's no rattlesnakes up there. It's on the west coast and stuff like that. But nothing to really, the girls are just like, yeah, dude, nah.
Hard pass.
There you go, hard pass.
I didn't realize, and even in talking to you, I didn't realize until the first show, then they did the pre-show, that I guess more than 10 people went, and then they all only 10 were chosen, right? How many went initially? Because y'all had a week? Didn't the show say a week that y'all did, kind of had to prove yourself? Yeah.
So. And what she's talking about is the screening process, and there's a boot camp that we went to beforehand. So out of the however many thousands of people that applied for the show, they basically picked 20 that were their top 20. And then all 20 of us went to this basically a skills assessment. So they had us start fire and skin a rabbit and all this other stuff. But so out of those 20, they picked the 10 of us and then 2 alternates in case something happened.
All right, yeah. So you had to prove you were at least, you'll live more than a day out there.
You're not a liability.
Right. Okay. Definitely. You talked about doing some long-range sniper competitions in your day. Is there any? You talked about the Mammoth Sniper Challenge. We know about that. Is there any PRS stuff, any competitive long-range stuff that you do or are interested in doing maybe in the future?
No, I'll skip that because I'm gonna probably wind up pissing some PRS people off. But no, I
Well,
try to I try to stick most of the competition stuff for me is twofold. It's I'm never gonna be good enough to be winning these things. And I know the guys that normally do, and I'm never gonna be on that level. But for me, it's about seeing old friends, having a good time, meeting new friends, and the other part of it is kind of taking those skill sets from that I used to have a long time ago and sharpen them up. So I try to when I do shoot competitions, I try to look for stuff that's as close to a semi-practical scenario as humanly possible, if that makes sense. Um,
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the reason. It's guys like you that makes me not want to get hardcore in a PRS because it's like, dude, I don't have that long range. I wasn't trained in the army or any sniper school or anything like that. I'm just gonna go out and purchase, myself a fancy long range rifle that I'm gonna spend, $3,000 on plus, and I'm gonna go out there and try to hang. And then it was like the PRS guys are like, dude, these are all snipers in the army. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna compete there with
Yeah,
those
it's a
guys.
good time, man. And I tell you what, I did the sniper thing. That's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize about being a sniper is that, I mean, realistically, it might be, if I had to put a percentage on it, it might be 20% shooting. I mean, you gotta know what you're doing as far as shooting goes, but it's really a small part of what I used to do. So when I go to these competitions and things like that, it's all about shooting. It's all about that 20%. So I learn stuff, all the time. Especially when you're talking about shooting in alternate positions and things of that nature, and doing stuff quick. You know, but yeah, I mean every single one of these things I go to, I learn something, and I think that's it for me. Is I try to stay constantly learning stuff. But yeah, there's a huge difference, and I think that's sexy. That's what gets shown on TV. They're not gonna make a movie about somebody sitting in a hole shitting in a bag for 5 days watching a road. You know, so the
Say, tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, that's
Like
the
when
hardcore stuff of it. Everybody wants to see the jersey and all these fancy positions and all these fancy guns. No one wants to hear about that stuff that goes on in actually real life scenarios.
yeah
Well,
yeah
like when I was learning long range, I didn't know anything, and I asked him to help me, and we were looking through the scope and all. And he was like usually I looked through my scope. It wasn't to shoot; it was to observe. I was like, really?
yeah. I mean, most of the time, the majority of the time on missions, it was an observation. It was observation. It wasn't. You have this mental image of this guy in a ghillie suit out there just blinking away at dudes, and that's not real life.
Yeah.
It's it's more practical, or it's a more better representation. If you think about it, in like, okay, you're dug in this hole with a bunch of netting and stuff covering you. Nobody can tell where you're at, and you got 2, 3 other guys in the same hole for 3, 4 days. You all stink. You're eating limited food, and if you got a shit, somebody's holding a bag underneath of you. Um, you know, it's it's not the sexy stuff you see on TV and movies.
Yeah, it's not the Hollywood, the Hollywood sniper version,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, here we're gonna go to the lightning round off of that, because I think we can laugh a little bit more with the lightning round here. So since we're on that on that topic here, toilet paper roll, Justin, over the top or underneath the roll? What do you prefer and
Over
why?
the top. that's not even a question. It's supposed to be on the top. I think it's actually in the patent that it's supposed to be on the top.
I think if we ever have somebody on the show that says it's supposed to be under the bottom, we just need to stop the show right there.
I thought we had one. I thought the guy from Rudy Project said underneath, didn't he?
No, I don't think he did.
Rudy Reyes?
No, it wasn't. What was his name? Oh, jeez.
Their tech guy.
Their marketing guy. Their marketing guy. I forget. I'm saying it wrong, but it's 2 episodes. It was only 2 weeks ago too. It's not like it was like show 5. But, I thought he did. You know what I told Jen is I just take the roll and I don't even put it on the thing. I just put it on the counter.
I told him that was grounds for divorce. Poor Nancy.
Just put it on the counter. That way it's no up, no down. It's just right there.
You ever do that in my house and you run out of toilet paper and call my name to bring you more? Be like, hell no, you can't put it on the hanger. You don't get none.
Well, hopefully you don't have no tiles hanging in there.
You get you a dirty sock out of the hamper right next to you.
Yeah. All right. It was a little long for the lightning round, but that's always a fun one.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. So tacos, burrito, Mexican joint. What are you grabbing? One or the other?
Depends on what mood I'm in, but probably a burrito.
Yeah, that's. I don't think you can go. I don't think there's a real right and wrong answer on that one. Really, it just kind of really depends on what mood you are.
Well, there could be a really wrong answer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. All right. Battle belt or tactical vest? If you can only kind of go, I guess, if you can only use one, battle belt or tactical vest.
I kind of like my leather belt. No, I'm like a stick an extra mag in my back pocket kind of guy, man. I don't really get into the carrying 75 pounds of stuff around anymore.
Fair enough. Yeah, we'll accept that. There's always those guys. There's the guys that just use the jeans in their pocket. You know, the pockets on their jeans. There you go. Jeez, I didn't know to set up there. Gee. All right, so if you can only watch one or compete in one, is it MMA or boxing?
Watching probably boxing. I don't really get into like 2 half-naked dudes grabbing each other and rolling around on the ground. So
I knew that's it.
Yeah, I heard that one before for some people. So there we go. Boxing wins this one. All right, if you can only drink one, is it Jameson or Jack Daniels?
Ugh.
I like both.
It's one of the only things I don't drink is whiskey. So probably, I guess Jameson probably.
Jameson, yeah, it's a hard question for me because I do whiskey, and it really can't go wrong with neither. But since we're going to be in Tennessee, Kentucky area, we're going to go with the Jack. Tennessee, Jack
Daniels. You gotta go get some bourbon, man.
Yeah, indeed. What are you drinking, by the way? You don't drink whiskey. That's interesting. What are you drinking?
A lot of rum, a lot of tequila, a lot of vodka, a lot of pretty much everything.
Everything else. Yeah, right on. All right.
I'm from Kentucky, so I think I overdosed when I was young.
Yeah. All right. So we have Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris get into a fight in their prime. Who do you have winning?
I think that actually happened, and I'm pretty sure Bruce Lee won.
Yeah, that happened in a movie, so we know. Bruce isn't going to get his ass. He did get his ass kicked in that movie, but he didn't ultimately lose. So
yeah, I don't know. I have a rule, and I hope I don't offend any Asians, but so I have a rule. If I get into it with somebody and they're bigger than me or they're Asian, I'm just gonna shoot you, because I'm not taking that chance.
Yeah, that's a. Yeah, that's true. Because I'll leave it at that. But yeah.
Don't go there.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to, pour fuel on the fire. But there you go. All right, we'll wrap it up with this one. We got 2 more here we'll talk about. Oreos or Chips Ahoy if you can only eat one?
Oreos. That's not even a question.
Yeah, I agree there. And lastly here.
No, but that was my favorite because Oreo. That's the only one I feel very strongly about.
But he's in your house. Like, he's in your house. What would you have done if he said Chips Ahoy?
Nothing.
I mean, you could, stab him. We'd never know.
Yeah.
You could be even forcing him to say Oreos right now.
He can have bad taste. I can't force him to do anything.
You can have a knife on his kneecap.
We don't know. We don't even know.
That's
Where
what
are your
happened.
hands, Jen?
Yeah. And the last one here, I guess we could do the Girl Scout cookie one, Thin Mints or Samoas for Girl Scout cookies.
What's in a Samoa? I hate mint, so.
It's coconut. It's like a cookie. It's a round cookie with a hole in the center, and they have coconut covered in caramel, and then they drizzle the chocolate across the top.
You know way too much about Girl Scout cookies.
I chose Samoas because I don't give a shit about Thin Mints. I also
I guess,
Keeps Ahoy.
I'd go with Samoas then.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I'm not a big
They're
fan
in
of
the
mint.
purple box. The purple box.
Yeah.
No way.
There's
Too much.
There's another lightning round question that we need to ask just for Justin.
Which one's that?
Blue jeans or Ranger panties?
Probably in my short shorts. Generally, 9 times out of 10. I actually have people that don't recognize me when I have pants on.
You
That doesn't sound right, but
I was gonna say I almost said yeah, me too, and then I was like, no, they recognize me.
funny thing on his Facebook page because he wears these like we call them Ranger panties because it's what y'all do PT in, right?
yeah,
little-
they're extremely short.
They look like the little cheerleader shorts that
Yeah.
cheerleaders wear, and that's what he wears all the time. It'll be like, what match was it? Y'all are out there. It's like 30 degrees, and you're in Ranger panties.
Oh, that was at Mammoth
Yeah.
last year.
Jeez. You
I
know,
let the balls breathe.
They're not that big, so.
it's funny. He'll get along with the guys from Tactical Shit. I don't know if you guys seen their videos recently, but I think they're promoting. They're doing a rally, kind of for the veterans and stuff like that. That's going on. I'm going to have the dates in the description box. And their announcement video, all 4 of them are in the Ranger panties, and they're doing they're stretching at the same time. So it's like nuts on floor. It's like, I don't know. You would get along with those guys for sure.
Red, White, and Ben always wears his Ranger panties too. He's about as bad as Justin.
Yeah, indeed. All right, I guess that'll wrap it up for the lightning round here. We got we'll throw one more out there, and then we'll kind of go into the discount corner portion of the show. But quickly, I want to get out an announcement here on Tactical Shit product spotlight here. They got 20% off all AR-15 triggers. So that's going to include the Rise Armament trigger and pretty much every one they sell. So, and that's like 5 or 6 of them on the website. So if you're in for a AR-15 trigger, you want to get rid of the mil-spec one, want to get something a little bit Ferrari-like, check out Tactical Shit. They have 20% off going right now. All right, quickly, you did a class down here in Florida at Volusia County. I think it was Volusia County Gun and Hunt Club. How did that go? And if someone wants to take a class with you, maybe learn about survival techniques and stuff like that, do you have any more coming up?
Yeah, so I'm actually probably next week I'll be posting some new classes that I'll have coming up later in June and then throughout the summer. Both long range classes and survival classes. But yeah, the one to Florida went well. Was down just outside of Daytona at the Big 3 training center. But yeah, so I do a little bit different stuff on classes as a lot of people do, in that I travel around and do them as opposed to having one focal point that people come to. So what that allows is kind of it allows people to be able to have a group together or whatever, and it saves them a ton of money because the expenditure is me coming out there instead of 8, 10, 12, however many people coming to an actual center. And it really depends. The other nice thing about it is I'm able to tailor the course to what they actually want. So if they want a little bit of shooting and a little bit of survival, or this or that or the other thing, they can kind of tailor make that to exactly what they want. For instance, I'm doing a class the 4th and 5th of June for some National Guard LURS guys up by Atlanta. So I was able to tailor that specific course to their specific type of operation. which there's very few people that I know of that actually do that. Most people are kind of, they have their program of instruction, and that's what they teach. So starting to see that a lot more people actually want that ability to get the
They get the information they want out of that class. So I mean, maybe they don't. Yeah, maybe they want. I don't know too many who do shooting and survival stuff. So if you can tune that, that'll definitely be worth it. I mean, what do we need to bring to a class like that? Because I know like a 3-gun course, you need to bring 1,000 rounds of each. It's $750 for 3 days. What's kind of the lowdown on this?
Yeah, so it really depends on the class, and it really depends on where it is. Usually I'll have a training center that already exists kind of sponsor me, so I'll be basically a guest instructor. For instance, I'm doing some classes up in Pennsylvania for the Shooter's Gauntlet in basically a few times throughout the summer. So for those classes, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's all inclusive. So you can show up in jeans and a t-shirt, and we give you everything that you need for the entire time, including food, lodging, all that kind of stuff. I'm doing a class later in August for Cornerstone buddies of mine up in Chicago. So we're to do basically like 3 or 4 classes. I think it's like 4 or 5 classes back to back. So there will be a 3-day urban kind of an escape and evasion class, then right into a rural survival class, then pistol, then carbine, then a kind of putting everything together and actually going through a scenario at the end. So it really just depends because I don't have a set structure like everything else, and I'm tailor making these. It really depends as far as what the class is and what you need to bring. But basically, I'll post on my pages the next class that's coming up, and then give people my email address, which is just justin.vititoe@yahoo. And then if you shoot me an email and say, hey, I want to sign up for this class, I'll send you all the information of exactly what you need to bring, travel arrangements, all that stuff.
All right, on. So we're definitely if you guys are remotely interested in any of this stuff, it seems to be Facebook is the way to go to get a lot of the information from Justin and Hike to Survive stuff. We're going to jump into Discount Corner. I know Nikki has a question coming up here shortly, so Discount Corner here to help you guys save some dough. We have, like I said, 20% off AR-15 triggers at Tactical Shit. But if you're shopping for something else other than an AR-15 trigger right now, I have a 10% discount. That's TSM10 at shop.tacticalshit.com. So if you want anything else other than a AR-15 trigger, 10% off those items. We have Dewey Rods, DeweyRods.com. So if you are a long-range shooter, you know how important it is to have a quality rod to clean your long guns with. And that Dewey Rod's going to help you out with that. That's TSM15, 15% off at DeweyRods.com. What do we have? Terran Tactical Innovations, TSM10 will save you 10% off all the base pads. I think they just redesigned the Glock 43 base pads due to some customer feedback and stuff like that. So they're redone. They still have them +3, +2. I think they redid the +2s, but they have the +2s, the +3s, and a +1 if you guys are carrying a micro Glock or anything like that. And they have base pads for like everything. CZs, Walters, PMags, TSM10 saves you 10% off. Jen, you got anything for Discount Corner?
Yep, Carbon Arms. You can get shotgun caddies and AR-15 handguards, all kinds of things. You can get your jihad vest. Don't laugh about all of our 3-gun shotgun stuff.
Called a jihad vest?
No, it's not. It's not really called that. But
oh,
it kind of looks. It kind of looks a little bit like that. Like if you stuck AK mags in that thing, it'll really pass.
But you can get 10% off with the discount code TSM10 at carbon-arms.us. And Samson Manufacturing, you can get 10% off at samson-mfgpro.com, and you can get all kinds of AR-15 stuff there, scope mounts. I love their scope mount.
Yeah, definitely. Samson-mfgpro.com and carbonarms.us. Nikki, do you have anything on your end, Discount Corner?
Of course I do. You got to be my best friend, though. So if you're in the middle of your rifle build and you need a new barrel, I'd love to talk to you about barrels, what kind you need, what you're looking for. Hit me up on Facebook or hit Heath up on Facebook or Team Clemson Shooting on Facebook. We got a discount code for Criterion barrels. We also have, if Samson Manufacturing is not your thing and you kind of dig American Defense, I got a discount code for American Defense I'd love to share with you also for your rifle builds. And True Spec. If you want some pretty sweet pants or some pretty cool gear, I'll hit you up with hit me up. I'll get you a True Spec discount code as well.
So Nikki, here's a question about barrels here. What do I need? What's this whole 1 to 7, 1 to 8, 1 to 9 twist thing? Like, what do I need?
What are you doing with it? Shooting 3-gun or?
Yeah, if I'm taking a Chris Costa course.
Anthony, did you just really ask that?
If I'm taking a Chris Costa course right now, what do I need?
Costa course, you probably need some mental.
Oh, you just bring what you have, okay? I'm sure it'll work just fine.
All right. Yeah, that'll do it, I guess, for the barrel 1 to 8, 1 to 7 twist questions, I guess. But she'll really talk to you about some stuff. I'm just trying to make some giggles here going on. All right. Funny Chris Costa courses. All right, let's see. UM Tactical TSM10 at umtactical.com. They're going to be an NRA show. I just shared what booth number they were going to be. I don't know it off the top of my head, but if you want to check out their Rage total compensation system, which is fully adjustable for your AR-15, they just released it in 308. TSM10 is going to get you 10% off that at umtactical.com. All right. So that'll wrap it up for Discount Corner here. We'll move in. Nikki, what do you have?
Hold on, my dog just yanked my cord from under the door. Oh, God, there we go. What do I have for what? What are we doing? I apologize. Questions? Yes.
Let's go.
What is the most underutilized survival tool? So you were given a whole list of things that you could pick. You picked 10. Why'd you pick those 10, and which tool do you think is the most underutilized one?
That was like 7 questions.
Oh, okay. Why'd you pick your 10 items? What is the most underutilized tool, survival tool?
Like, what did I use the least?
What do you think is one that people overlook that you think is really important? Like, most people would think, nah, you shouldn't bring that, but maybe you should.
So, I think pretty much all of us brought an axe, a saw, sleeping bag, ferro rod. So I think the huge things that I did differently as opposed to the other cast members is, one, I brought a multi-tool instead of a fixed blade knife. There was another cast member that brought a multi-tool, Jose, but he actually also brought a fixed blade knife. The other one was bringing the hammock instead of a gill net, which turned out pretty well because I was able to catch a fish. I saw that in last week's episode, using it as a net, and then I also had a bunch of extra cordage, 2 steel rings, and a bunch of other stuff instead of just having a gill net with really small holes in it. And then the other 2 things that were kind of controversial were the amount of food I brought. I brought 2 extra sets of rations, which there's a couple other people that did as well. And the biggest reason I did that was just so I didn't have to rush into immediately getting food. You know, I had a little lead time before I really started to had to start thinking seriously about food. As far as the most underutilized or things that people kind of gloss over, for me, I think I think the having the multi-tool, that's something that you can have with you all the time. And the biggest thing, that I stress when I'm teaching classes is, especially on the survival side, is having things with you all the time, because very few, like nobody goes into, other than idiots like us that get on TV shows. Nobody goes into a situation is like, oh, I'm going to stay here for 300 days or whatever. So you when you get into a survival situation, chances are you didn't mean to get into it. So the odds of you having all this crazy gear with you is not very high. But things like always having a lighter in your pocket or always having a multi-tool, you can have that and make it a part of your daily life. Are you okay? Are you getting?
Heath is, I guess, deciding to pack for NRA right now.
Hello.
I did that right before the show started, and I'm a slow packer because I always think I forget everything, and I usually always do forget the things on top of being slow. Like SHOT Show, I forgot Jen's lavalier mic that I was supposed to lend her to use for interviews.
And I apologize,
totally
Justin. I am paying attention to what you're saying. I have another question off of what you're saying, but
I just didn't know if you were like fighting off an imaginary bear or something.
No, it's like Heath just comes in like. And then my dog's pulling my internet cord, like yanking my computer off my little table here for my temporary setup over here in the office, and I'm just like, what is going on today? I cannot get my shit together.
Yeah, it's a wild day of packing and stuff like that. I was kind of in the same boat, but luckily I was able to get it done.
Anyway, back to what you were saying, Justin. Is there one tool that you weren't allowed to take that you wish you could have? Is there one that you normally take if you weren't on the show? Like if you didn't have a list to pick from.
A gun. Yeah, I mean seriously, I would have taken a low caliber gun with as much ammo as I could have. Probably a 22 or 17 HMR. So that was one of the questions that, like, when we did the initial screening process and the initial interviews and all that, they asked us, they were like, what would be your top items? And there was no list at that point. It was just, what items would you take in the woods? And that was I think that was my first one, actually. I was like, a gun. And they were like, well, because of your background, and all this, would you still be comfortable, in the woods, when you have all these predator animals, this, that, and the other thing, if you didn't have a gun? And I was like, well, yeah, but it'd be kind of stupid to not have a gun in that situation. It was like, I don't think they found that funny, but it was especially up in country like that, like you're not all there going out without a gun. So
yeah, so 22, maybe like a takedown 10-22, something like that, something that'll be real small, mobile, fold on out. 22 ammo, you can carry an abundance of it.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna put, well, it'll be heavy. It'll definitely weigh down a pack by the more you have, but it won't be like rifle ammo or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, all right, there, good stuff. A gun, yeah, that's probably one of the things I'd take, and not that it's I won't live long enough to really, I won't survive long enough, even if I had it with my skills. But
what, you wouldn't take bug spray?
What? Bug spray and a pistol would probably be my deal. Yeah.
Anthony would die without In-N-Out Burger and his cell phone. The first 30 minutes, he'd be like, nope.
Now, I'm thinking I would take a fishing rod, right? I'd take things that I'm actually good at. A fishing rod, a pistol, and definitely a gallon of a big jar of that off spray, man. Yeah, they'll be a sponsor of the show after all that off spray promotion they're gonna get. All right, yeah, but that'll be.
Applying for Naked and Afraid, Anthony.
Oh, they're applying. You can apply to that.
Don't you want to?
No, not really.
No.
That's even the worst thing. That's where I get the mosquito thing from, because I used to watch that show, and I used to sit, dude. They come up, they wake up in the next morning, and it's like it's just everywhere. They just got bit all night. That means they didn't get any sleep, because there's no way they slept through it. They didn't get any sleep. They were slapping themselves all night long. So your lack of sleep, you're definitely probably in pain from all the everywhere you got bit. That's the pain in the butt, dude. And then after that, your mindset has got to be shit. From after that.
Yeah, you're probably just
So,
like, F this. F all of this.
yeah, you know what I mean. And then there's the mosquitoes carry a bunch of diseases, and that kind of leads into my next question anyway. So mindset. What's your mindset when you're in a survival situation like that, whether you're alone in an island, by yourself or with others, or maybe an urban kind of environment? I know we don't want to hit like the whole kind of the crazy zombie apocalypse thing, but if something like that was to go down in like New York City, that's a whole other survival situation that could be different. So what do you have as far as mindset in those situations?
So, I think your mindset has to be drastically different depending on your situation. If you're stranded out in the middle of nowhere by yourself, you have to do things to kind of keep yourself occupied. Otherwise, it's a pretty easy time to have a really bad day. So, laughing at stuff, whether it's funny or not, having a sense of humor, those types of things. In contrast to that, when you're talking about an emergency situation, to where, zombie apocalypse type thing, or, a huge natural disaster, I think in a lot of ways you have to turn 180 degrees the opposite way. And that's one of the things that I do talk about, in my classes when I'm talking about, extreme disasters and, emergency situations, is that, after a few days without food, people are not nice, and you can have all the stockpiled food in the world that you want to, and if somebody wants it bad enough, they're going to come take it. So having that mentality of like, oh, I'm going to try to be a nice person when the world's falling apart around me, it's not going to work. So I think to survive a situation like you're talking about, you have to turn on that, I'm going to do anything to survive. And that might not necessarily be a good thing. People always tell me all the time, and I'm sure a lot of other people get this, like, oh, if something crazy happens, I'm coming to your house, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Because
All the
somebody
time.
you was entirely different than the person you thought you knew. So yeah, don't come to my house if something goes wrong, because I'm probably just going to shoot you through the door.
There you go.
Honesty is the best policy.
Yeah, we talked about that. Honesty is the best policy. A lot of people do say that. Especially with guys. I see a lot of guys, especially on YouTube, they stockpile ammo. Like, you can't find 22 at Walmart, but your Joe over here has like 20,000 rounds, and that's lowballing 22.
Guys like that. Guys like that kill me, man. Like, you're part of the problem. You.
Well, I mean, the way we shoot too, like if we shot rimfire and we shoot 3-gun, there was a time where like 9mm factory ammo, you couldn't really find it at Walmart or any of these like big box stores, and 9's a real common caliber, and we couldn't find those. So that's when I started to reload. I bought the reloading machine. I kind of because and components were even tough. Powder, there was a drought on powder. There was a drought on primers. It's kind of like you had to be involved in the industry and know people that were talking about it to get it. So there, anytime, the government says this and says that and wants to throw a ban out there and do this, and that's when that whole craze of stockpiling ammo comes in, and that's when you can't get it. And as competitive shooters, we can't feed the need. So we kind of need to reload and stockpile on that. So I can understand why some people do stockpile it, in a sense. So there it is.
If it does happen, it's going to be nice because, never mind.
Yeah.
All
right.
Same with food.
What's that?
I said it's the same with people stockpiling food. You need enough to get you some more, and that's about it.
Really, yeah, I know that's a whole nother topic, like prepping and stuff like that, and people that save canned foods, and what are those ready meals? I forgot what they're calling them now. I know they're available on websites. They're just like in a bag.
Yeah.
MREs.
Yeah, just add hot water. It's not. There's other companies. I don't know if it's the Wise company or something like that, but
Yeah.
yeah, they have them like that, and supposedly they're really good. And I know they have a couple. Well, I don't know if they're really good. I know they're good enough to like not throw up or anything like that. So haven't tried it. See some videos on it, but like there's like what is scrambled eggs and stuff like that, just all frozen. People eat them on YouTube and get thousands of views.
Better than snails. Isn't that what y'all were eating? What's her
I
name said?
did eat
Nicole
some
said
snails.
last week that there were like snails on the shore or something that they. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, those. Yeah, yeah. I saw the duck on the duck thing. Okay, so what was when that happened?
Oh my God. Fuck
I'm thinking this. My wife said I wouldn't eat it, and I'm like, I'll eat that. All right. So you decided not to eat it. What was what was the determination on that? You were just worried about getting sick and that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I had no idea how it died. We had red tide up there, which is basically it's basically a poison that can infect usually just the bivalves, so like clams, mussels, stuff like that. So I didn't know if this thing had gotten eaten some of that and died. And I don't know enough about bird intestines, and there's some of the competitors that I talked to them afterwards, and they were like, yeah, I would have looked at its guts and determined whether. I'm like, I don't know how to do that stuff. I'm a pretty simple-minded guy, so I'm like, I'm not going to perform an autopsy on a duck trying to figure out whether I can eat it or not. Just thing in the ocean. So yeah, it was a pretty simple decision for me, and it looked a lot more. It probably looked a lot more thought was going on, but the way that was taped was actually almost in real time. It was just kind of like, oh, duck's dead. I don't know what killed it. Let's throw it in the ocean.
Yeah, so it wasn't even a hard decision for you,
No, not for me, and I think that's one of the things that I pride myself on is I know what I don't know. And I'm not gonna make some stuff up, or try to say, oh well, this or that or the other thing. If I don't know something you got to weigh it and take the risk, and that's the biggest thing with survival. It's all about it's weighing the risk and the reward constantly, and it just wasn't enough reward for take that kind of risk, especially that early on.
Rebecca was all upset the duck died, and then when you were throwing it away and you said, yeah, what'd you say, bye, bro? Or you said something, she was like,
quack.
She turned around to me, she goes, text him right now and tell him that was wrong. That was wrong of him. Text him now, Mom. And she made me text you to tell you that she thought that was wrong.
The duck actually didn't die. It was just a prop duck, so no.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think you did the right thing. What was you supposed to do in that situation? Just leave it there, or what? You can do
No,
that.
I mean, once I made the decision not to eat it, then again, it was that next decision of, well, how do I get rid of it? And being in that kind of country, bear country, cougar country, the last thing I wanted was to make a bloody mess, trying to harvest some of it, for whatever other purpose, or trying to use it as bait or anything else. So I was like, it's not worth the hassle. I'm just going to pitch this dude in the ocean and hope he doesn't wash back up.
Right. Yeah. That was one of my thoughts. Use it as kind of like a fishing bait to get some fish or something like that. That would have been my thought, but that's an uneducated thought. But that's what I was thinking when I saw it.
At that point, I didn't bring any hooks or anything with me. And at that point, I hadn't made any. So it would have been a whole another long process to actually make some hooks and everything else. And by that time, I got this dead rotting duck.
Hey, there you go. All right, so we talked about that. Upcoming classes, we kind of hit on that. Any events or any goals that you have? And NRA show is this weekend. Are you attending it?
I'm not going to be able to make the NRA show. I have some other obligations this weekend. Let's see, upcoming events. I'm probably going to be up at Creekside shooting the DMR competition. What is that? The 28th, I believe, of this month. So that's not this weekend, but next. And then can't trying to remember, man. I can't keep track anymore. I just go where my phone tells me to go.
There you go. And I know you talked about some classes that you're doing earlier on the show in other
Yeah.
locations. So
Yeah, absolutely. So the next class I have is the private class for the National Guard Lurch guys. So that's the 4th and 5th. I remember what I was going to say. I might actually I'm going to try to make it up to Blade Show in Atlanta on the 3rd. And I actually think Dave McIntyre from the show is going to be there as well. So hopefully be able to link up with him and at least see each other for a day or so and walk around and pet ourselves accidentally. No offense, Mary Kate.
no, rough.
That was low. She'd be laughing if she was watching this.
Yeah, that took her out.
But yeah, so then I actually get to chill out for a little while after that until I head up to Pennsylvania. And then doing several classes over the summer with those guys up at Shooter's Gauntlet. Really awesome range up there, a whole range complex. I mean, Bob's got a zip line that you can shoot while you're zip lining, man. I mean, there's all sorts of awesome stuff up there. So we're gonna do a lot with them over the summer, and then excuse me. And then, like I said, in August, I think starting the 5th through the 15th, I'll be up in Chicago doing some classes up there.
All right, so there we go. We got a little bit of a schedule going on for him there. Definitely check out Hike to Survive Facebook community, as well as Justin's Alone Season 2 Facebook page. We'll have those down in the description box below for you guys to check out. And I think that's going to wrap it up for today's show, man. It was a real good conversation about survival. We appreciate you coming on here and spending 2 hours with us here, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me.
No doubt. We're going to bring it down to shout-outs here. Nikki, we'll start off with you, then Jen, we'll go to you.
All right. Give me a second to get my list pulled up. Okay, Criterion Barrels. I will be at the Criterion Barrels booth Friday. Now I lost my calendar. There it is. I'll be at the Criterion Barrels booth Friday from 2 to 4. I'll also be there Saturday 10 to 12. I can't remember the booth number right now. I know I'm a terrible sponsored shooter for them. I'll also be at the American Defense booth Friday from 1 to 2. That's booth 2913. And I will be at American Defense's booth 2913 from 12 to 1 on Saturday. The rest of the time I'll be hanging out. You can catch me at Eagle Imports booth as well. To continue my shout-outs, I got to shout out Pure Gold Shotgun Chokes and Stage Zero Shooting Supply. You can now get your Pure Gold Shotgun Chokes through Stage Zero Shooting Supply. Hit up Donnie. He'll get you one of those. Those are the official chokes of 3 Gun Nation. Got to shout out my local gun shop. Always shop local. My local gun shop is the Outdoor Shop. You can see them at theoutdoorshop.rocks. Also want to shout out True Spec. Hit me up if you want some discount codes for some awesome gear. I'll also be around their booth a little bit this weekend at NRA and to Safari Land. And that's it.
Yeah, Safari Land. We're going to swing by the Criterion Barrels booth when you're there. We're going to put the camera on you.
I'll tell you all the cool stuff you can get, and maybe I'll give you a discount code. We'll see.
Chris Costa course barrels, 3-gun barrels. I want to know if I want to shoot 3-gun, if I wanted to be a survivalist
1 and 8 all day
out in the woods, if I smash my gun barrel in the dirt. These are all questions to be prepared.
I've actually done that. I have it on YouTube, but I wasn't in the woods. I was in the middle of a match.
Yeah, so if I have dirt all in my gun, what barrel is going to be best, chrome line, and all that stuff. So we're going to hit you with some real silly and smart questions.
Chrome line, and I'm shooting stainless right now, and my backup is chrome lined, I think, or my backup's another stainless. I can't. Remember.
You gotta be on top of this stuff. All right, the camera's going to be on you. There's no editing. This is I can.
I have my parts manager with me.
Yeah, Keith's going to be there, so he'll back you up. He'll help you. He'll help you there. Jen, shout outs. What do you have?
All right, I've got Load Up Ammunition, Savannah River Armory, Sharpshooters of Augusta and Shooters of Augusta, Terran Tactical Innovations, Carbon Arms, Lucas Oil, Blade Tech, Vortex, Operation X, TacticalLife.net. Done.
Damn. That was fast. Justin, what do you
I'm
have?
also going to hit up. Is TTI going to be there? I'm going to hit up TTI too.
They're going to be walking around. They don't have a booth. They're going to be walking around. So if you see a bunch of people with blue jerseys on.
And I'll shout out to Justin because he's the one that taught me how to sight in my scope and do long range. So
there you go, man. It's always good at long range. Is I think one of the toughest parts in 3-gun.
We did a 4-hour, wasn't it about 4 hours we were out there, and I left feeling like I knew a lot more and a whole lot more confused. I know what I didn't know.
It's all math. It's just math.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, long range and loading the shotgun efficiently, I think are.
I can do the shotgun thing. The long range is still struggle.
Yeah, because people will do it lightning on a quick video, we'll load 12 shells and all that stuff, but then when you see them on a range, it's a lot slower. It's not going to be match time and dry fire times totally different times. But
that's because you got that Keith Garcia tip where he films himself 5 times and puts the fastest one.
Or puts the slowest one.
Puts the slowest one, and then when somebody beats him, puts the fastest.
He puts the fastest one out. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing. That's why, man, loading a shotgun, just going to box magazine it. Boom. Racket, box magazine, shotgun, ready to go, no quadding. Lazy way out. Cheater division. All right. Justin, what do you have as far as shout-outs, man?
Let's see. My buddies at Lansing Tactical, I shoot for them a lot, do a lot of stuff with them. That's elephant shirt. What else did I got? I can't shout myself out.
Yes, you can.
Sure you can.
This is weird. This is weird.
You can shout me out for being the most awesome.
You're sitting right here.
We could have added this to the lightning round question and been like, what is your take on flat build hats?
All right, so I actually do have, this is a pretty emotional thing for me. I have the widest assortment of friends probably of anybody I know. I get along with people from pretty much all walks of life, other than one group of people, and that one group of people is people that wear flat brim hats. I absolutely you might be the coolest dude in the world, but we're not getting along if you wear a flat brim hat. So just don't even try.
One day we met to shoot, and my hat was probably about like yours is right now, Anthony. And I get there, and he rips the hat off of my head. I'm not kidding. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's starts bending the bill, and then he puts it back on me, and I was like, are you better? And he's like, yes, I couldn't look at that.
Well, this isn't flat bill. I just need to break it in more a little bit. I mean, his is out there. I haven't seen that type of bend in a hat in a while.
Heath rolls his up and puts them in a cup and makes them sit for a couple days in a cup to make sure they have that perfect bend.
Bend going? Yeah. The flat brim hat thing is kind of a weird thing. But all right, so that'll do it for the shout-outs. I got a couple on my end. I wanted to let you know to subscribe to the channel. Right below this video, you see a subscribe button. Hit that. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we do a new episode of The Shooter's Mindset, new guest, and I upload some competition shooting videos and some gear review videos in between those. We thank Justin, man. Appreciate you coming on, man. I missed you at SHOT Show. Gonna miss you at NRA because you're not gonna be there, but I'm sure we'll bump into each other eventually. What do I got here? Tactical Shit. Definitely check out tacticalshit.com for your news, and shop.tacticalshit.com for your shopping needs there. Email contact if you want to get a hold of me is theshootersmindset@gmail.com. Gear Nation USA for local company, man. Really doing all American made apparel, all American materials. You're not getting some China shirt with a bunch of Second Amendment supporting stuff on there, man. It's an American made shirt and all that stuff. So that check out Gear Nation USA. Their Facebook page will be in the links below. Rise Armament, Dewey Rod, definitely S3F Solutions for their barrels. Their aftermarket Glock barrels are legit, and they're coming in stock. They're in stock right now for Glock 17s and 19s, and they have a G22 conversion barrel and they're talking about the ported G34 barrel that's being announced and it's about coming out. Fort Mill Munitions, if you need ammo, definitely check out Fort Mill Munitions. That's teamfmm.com for 9, 380, 40, 45, and 38 Super based on request. They'll get that to you. And I'll wrap it up with RAN CLP. So if you see me, I don't know about NRA show. I'm trying to get that stuff over there, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it.
CLP is going to be what gets you arrested.
Yeah, it might be. I talked to some people. They're like, yeah, you can do that on the airplane. And then I talked to Justin before the show. He's like, I don't know, dude. I don't think that's worth it. So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna not bring it. But if you see me anywhere else, I have
way to find out.
Yeah, well, there's one way to find out, and I don't want to be that guy to find out for you. So we'll figure it out. But that'll do it. That's episode 135 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for joining us, Nikki, Jen, Justin. Thanks for the help on this one, and we are out of here.